Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 62 of Chance Ball, and this one is titled Baby Fever. Yun, she said with a smile. Yun, you said as you unclipped him from his pram seat and lifted him out. Hey, little man. He babbled and giggled, and then buried his head into your neck as you cuddled him, and your heart nearly exploded. Having an instant spike of baby fever, you looked across at Dabi with big, watery eyes as you cuddled the little one close. Babe, you sung at him. No, he warned. But babe, look at him, you wailed with love. No, put the baby down, he warned again. But look at him, he's so cute. Please, I want one, you sobbed, squishing the baby's face to yours when he pulled back from giving you a cuddle. Dabi exhaled through his nostrils and stayed silent while you fawned over the little boy and then asked the mum some questions. I think it's getting close to when we could have kids, Dabi thought, trying to mentally grasp the timeline. We'll be done with college in 6 months. It takes 9 months to grow a baby, so we could start trying now, I guess. He watched you playing with the boy and smirked to himself. Yeah, she looks good with a baby. Finally, you handed the little one back to his mum and said goodbye as they left, and then sighed dreamily and looked across at Dabi, who by now had a very carnal look in his eye. Hey, you said, catching that look. What's that for? Have you changed your mind now? Are we going to make a baby? He smirked and sat back and crossed his arms across his chest, while dropping his head and giving you an alpha seductive stare. If you want it, then come ride it, he said in a raspy low voice across the table to you. Now? You asked cheekily. I'm not shy, he replied boldly. Yeah, I know you're not, you said with an eye roll. Okay, so when we get home, are we actually going to try? Are you ready to be a dad? I've been ready since high school. He reached a hand out to his hair and then tousled it. If you're ready, then let's start making babies. I mean, we could. We only have 6 months left to go this year, you pondered. That's what I was thinking, he said with another smirk. See, we're on the same page. You couldn't help but half stand up and high-five him over the table. So you did, and then sat back down and looked at your menu to order. After breakfast, you headed home, wanting to start the baby-making process, but also knowing you had to get ready for work. But Dabi, however, had other ideas, and before you knew it, you were between the sheets. And then after that, you went to work. For some reason, every person that came in that day either had a baby with them or they were heavily pregnant, and it was just consuming your mind. So when the shop got a little quieter, you pulled your phone out to do some research on how to fall pregnant. One site led to another, and next minute you were looking up positions that would be most likely to give you either a baby girl or a baby boy. I really do think that Dabi would look cute with a baby girl in his arms, you thought as you read through some of the article. 5 seconds later, you're on Pinterest, pinning baby decorations and crib setups for your future board, and that's when you got a message from Dabi. What the hell? Was all it read, and you clicked it open to ask what the heck he had said what the hell for. What? He sent back. The hell are you doing? You literally just pinned 50 pictures of baby crap to your board. It wasn't that many, you replied with an eye roll emoji. So Dabi sent a screenshot proving to you that he had just recently uploaded 50 pictures to a new board. Oh, you sent. Listen, you need to get home right now. You're not well. He replied. I feel fine, you texted back to him. No, I have a thermometer here to take your temperature. They say rectal thermometers give you the most accurate reading. I'm not letting you... You paused mid-writing as a picture came through of Dabi lying on the bed with something else that he was holding in his hand. This is the thermometer. He added to the picture. If you stick that up my ass, I'm not going to get pregnant, you sent back. We'll come home, we can compromise, he replied with a smirk face. You didn't know what it was, but seeing pictures like that from Dabi always got you hot and bothered, so you sent him a quick suggestive reply and then closed the chat and started wrapping up for the night. Close to an hour later, you were back home. You had decided to run home instead of having Dabi come and get you, as you couldn't wait any longer than necessary, and you burst through the front door to the house and shouted up the stairs to him. Come and get me, you coward, you bellowed. The hell? You heard him say, scuffling sounds following as he rolled himself out of bed and poked his head out the door to look at you. Fight me naked, you shouted, stripping off at the front door. He looked equal parts confused and elated and imitated you by dropping his pants and taking his top off. Ha! I brought my longsword, he yelled, running down the stairs with everything hanging out, jiggling around from side to side. On guard. 2 weeks later, you got your period. To say you were disappointed was an understatement. You thought for sure that you'd fall pregnant after all. You'd fallen quickly once before. The following month after that, you got your period again. A tear slipped from your eye when you saw that you, again, hadn't fallen pregnant. 3 more months went by, and each month you got your period. You'd almost given up hope then, and even Dabi was starting to get a little bit worried. "Should we see a doctor?" he asked one afternoon after you'd come back from the bathroom. "No, I'm fine," you snapped with bitter disappointment as you threw another negative pregnancy test in the bin. You really couldn't handle it in your emotional state. "Okay, just asking." He shrugged. You hung your head and sighed. Why can't I fall pregnant?" you asked in a broken voice. "You will. We will. We'll have a baby. Just you wait. I'm going to keep going until you're so full you'll have 6 kids," he said confidently. His overly dramatic reply made you feel a little bit better, and you sniffed and gave him a small smile. "Okay," you replied sadly, giving him a hug. Final exams were coming up fast, so you abandoned the idea of kids and pregnancy to focus on passing at least. You certainly didn't want to have to repeat any of the classes that year. You just wanted that slip of paper that had your name and degree on it, and that would be perfect. Thank you very much. You and Dabi did do it a few more times those last 2 months, but nothing worth noting. Your life in that department had always been good, but nothing really stood out for you in those last few months. The week of exams commenced and you were under the pump. Dabi had done the bare minimum of study, as usual, and was just hanging in there with the questions that he was being asked on the paper. "Man, what the hell was question 10? He asked you as you left the hall on the second day. "The one about laws?" you asked. "Yeah, that one." The fact that it was about laws and you had no idea really fits the picture for you as a person, Dabi, you teased. "You don't even listen to the laws that you do understand, so how are you expected to know about the laws you haven't read up on?" "Who needs laws? Who needs rules? Not me," he replied, puffing his chest up and marching proudly beside you. You chuckled and shook your head, walking with him out to his car. Once at home, you went and studied for the final test while Dabi watched volleyball on the TV. "Babe," he shouted after a few minutes, "you want pizza for dinner?" "We've been living off junk food," you shouted back. "I need to get some fruit and veggies into me. Everything aches." You stretched your arms and back and then flopped your head from side to side, still sitting in the chair in the study. "Let's go shopping and I'll cook a stir-fry." "Stir-fry?" he moaned. "With vegetables and crap?" "Yes, health," you replied as you got up and walked out of the bedroom and along the landing, talking over the banister as you headed for the stairs. "You know, the stuff we need in our bodies to survive." "I don't want to eat rabbit food," Dabi grumbled. "If it's green, keep it away from me." "Carrots, cauliflower, corn?" "If it's any colour of the rainbow and grew in the ground or on a tree, I don't want to know it," he replied. "You do realise that they put this stuff on pizza too," you said as you walked into the lounge room. "I just want meat on my pizza. Base, sauce, meat and cheese," he said, listing the foods on his fingers. "Why do I want a child when I have the biggest child right here?" you said teasingly, walking over to cuddle his head from over the back of the lounge. "Okay, I'll go and get the food and you stay here and I'll be back." "Okay," he pouted. You smiled and then went and got your wallet and phone and left to go down to the corner store. They always had cheap veggies at the store, and plus you worked there, so staff discounts, right? You got all you needed and then headed back home to cook. "Final exam tomorrow," you commented to Dabi a half hour later as you were just starting to fry the beef for the stir-fry while he sat at the table to talk to you while you cooked. "Yep, then what you going to do?" he asked. Probably stick with the shop," you replied, scraping the onions into the wok and stepping back as they hissed and crackled in the hot oil. "You should look for a job teaching somewhere at least. There might be some schools in the area that need a female coach." "Yeah," you hummed, chucking the veggies in and swirling them around, adding some soy sauce. "I know, I'm just comfy at the shop." "Well, we've got another game this weekend, and if we win, we get prize money, so that'll help," Dabi said with a grin. "Oh, yeah, I'm coming to that one," you said, pushing the food around in the wok with a wooden spoon. "Then I might go to the doctor's and, I don't know, see if I can take something to help me, fall pregnant." "Don't feel like you have to, just for my sake," Dabi said in an uncharacteristically soft voice. "Even if we don't have kids of our own, we could adopt." You thought silently and then just nodded, not really wanting to get into too much of a discussion at that point. Dabi got up and walked around behind you and scooped his arms around your middle, head resting on your shoulder. "I love you, okay?" "You're being so soft, Dabi," you hummed, taking your eyes off the cooking for a second to kiss his lips. The minute your lips touched his, something poked you in the backside and you groaned. Seriously, now?" "He's happy to see you," Dabi replied with a smirk as he pushed up against you. "Ugh, you're the worst," you said with an amused chuckle. The next day dragged on, but then finally it came to a close, and you were done. End of college. Finished. Completed. You were a free woman, and you screamed loudly with sheer relief as you ran out to the car park to wait for Dabi. He had a different exam that day, so you had to wait for a half hour before you could head home together, and you squealed loudly again when you saw him walking towards you through the parked cars, and grinned from ear to ear as he put his arms out for you to run and jump into. Dropping your bag to the ground, you sprinted forwards to him and jumped into his arms. "Done, we're done!" you screeched while he laughed happily. College life was no more. That weekend was a blur of activity, and you supported Dabi at his game, and then after he'd won, you and he went to the doctors together to talk about fertility. "So, what can I help you with today?" the woman doctor asked. "Well, my boyfriend and I have been wanting to have a baby, but nothing seems to be working," you said sadly. And there ends chapter 62. Stay tuned for chapter 63 coming tomorrow.